Welcome to this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host. Do me a favor, make sure to like, subscribe, and share on YouTube, all the social media. Tell your friends what's going on and keep spreading the word. Each of our episodes, we touch on different aspects of the car culture, car shows, car collectors, builders, racing, of course. Right? And one of the things I figured out a long time ago, I got to get up kind of early in the morning, right? So I want to go racing or want to be there, I want to cover an event or do a car show. And I know I got to have coffee to kind of get my adrenaline jump started so I know I can have a great day. Well, I found really cool coffee. And if you're a viewer, you're going, Mike, what does really cool coffee have to do with racing? Well, how about fire department coffee? And today we're going to have this is Jason Patton. He's the co-owner of this, vice president of fire department coffee. And this is probably one of the coolest things I found in a long time. Before we go any further, we got a video that kind of explains what FDC is about. Hey, Rick, hit that play button, buddy.
I'm Luke Schneider. I'm the CEO and founder of Fire Department Coffee, located here in Rockford, Illinois. I found my love for coffee working long hours from my time in the Navy. I've had the honor to serve for the city of Rockford as a firefighter paramedic for 12 years. During that time, I met my wife, and she was a barista, and I was like, this is a match made in heaven. We started brewing coffee together and then roasting it together. So I did a fire department blend, and out of everything we did, that fire department blend took off. So in 2016, launched Fire Department Coffee with the mission to make great coffee and support our fellow firefighters and first responders. We've been recruiting multiple firefighters and veterans because the fire service and the military are both team-oriented and mission-focused. Very early on, we knew that we didn't want to create a company around the fire service and being a firefighter without doing more than just making great coffee. So we give back from Fire Department Coffee and support charities that support first responders, as well as being able to support first responders directly who've been sick or injured while on the job.
Wow. Hopefully now you kind of understand why Mikey's so excited about our guest today. Jason, welcome aboard, man. And we are thrilled to have you with us. And I know you've already had probably at least one cup of fire department coffee, right?
Oh, I think I have one cup before I even wake up. I think it's just autonomic at this point. Yeah.
So how you doing today, sir? And thank you so much for being on the show, by the way.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm doing great. I loving life, having a great time with all this. It's fun watching Luke Schneider kind of recap the way that Fire Department Coffee came together. Yeah. And I got to tell you, being involved with the NHRA has been almost like a homage for me, payback to my roots. Not a lot of people know this. I'm a firefighter paramedic, but I was actually a mechanic before I got into any of this. So This is some of the first things I did with my father that I remember was going to Moroso in Florida and watching the cars rip off the track. So it's amazing.
And so many of us, we grew up when we were a little bit of a gearhead, right? So
yep.
This fits. Well, we're going for the viewers. If you're new to what we're doing, thank you very much. This is kind of like the Emily convention. Tell two friends for next show, right? So you're going to see some pictures and some videos. We got some picks coming up, and we kind of talk what's kind of hanging on with what I call the FDC team. So we got some picks coming up, and I'm not sure which one's my favorite, Jason. I got to be candid. I'm kind of digging them all.
We love them. The flavors in those things have been actually unbelievably incredible to us, and what we really loved was the homage back to our Navy roots with the Shellback Espresso you saw. Luke looks a lot older now. That video was about 2 years ago, and
right.
He looks like 10 years older by now. That's just business, apparently. But the Irish whiskey and vanilla bean bourbon, I love those. Like, punches you in the face of flavor with whiskey and bourbon, and then obviously nitro latte. That's probably top of the tier for me. Yep. I just love little cream, little sugar, little caffeine to get you going.
And kickstart you and to have a great day. I think we got a few more picks of these guys. And so, anytime you see this booth, I actually I helped you set up your booth here at the spring event for NHRA.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. Yeah. I wasn't there for that one. That's awesome.
And I like having the dog there, man.
Dalmatians, that's a mainstay right there. When everyone sees Dalmatians, they think fire. Oh, yeah. And the history of Dalmatians is incredible. So it's very cool to see that.
Absolutely. And
that's my wife in the middle. actually.
Really? And this is your, so that's your wife. So I got to ask, how did you suck her into all this? Or did she just kind of volunteer?
I just convinced her one day, come on this video shoot with me. She's like, I'm not sure what I'm getting into. And then we were married. So she was locked in. She's just been an incredible person in my life. Honestly, we met on a shoot highlighting women in the fire service kind of met up and connected from there. And, 5 years later, we're married and very happy together. So it's been fun.
Well, great. I tell everybody I married up with Mary. She still puts. I like this shot, by the way, because you're really enjoying what's going on, the recliner and your FDC copy.
The funny part is what we're looking at right there is the guy with the big mustache, Firefighter Fenton. We're pranking him. So that is, you want to talk about pure firefighter enjoyment. That's it there.
And so the viewers, later on, you'll see some of the pics and the videos. He doesn't, the guy, no, what's his name with the big giant mustache?
Firefighter Fenton is his name.
Fenton. At times, he almost got his way to be like real serious.
Yes.
Okay. and the viewers might recognize that guy in the middle. I believe that's Antron Brown.
Mm-hmm. Antron Brown, by far, one of the nicest guys I think I've ever met. And not just like nice, he's good with people, like genuinely seems like a great dude. So he's either the nicest guy I've ever met or he's a serial murderer. It's one of the two. I'm going to go with nicest guy I've ever met.
I would have a tendency to agree. He's been on the show. We spent a lot of time in the pits during the spring event. Well, we've already gotten message about it. We all hook it up with Ted and everybody for the fall event. Yeah, number one stand-up guy. Okay, so for the viewers, you've heard a little bit of this, and he talks about pranking somebody. I've had the pleasure of working with fire departments across the United States, hung out at their houses, looking at how they do some management stuff. Very impressed with their professionalism and committing to each other. But also, when you're hanging together for 30 hours a day for like a year and a half straight, you got to kind of keep things a little fresh, and a little humor goes a long way. Is that a good way to put it, sir?
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, average shift is 24-48. Some of these guys, like out in California, they're wildland firefighters. They're gone for 3 weeks, camping out, fighting fire together. So you got to spice it up, man. We're brothers, brothers and sisters. You got to have a little fun.
You got to have a little fun. So what a great segue for our next video. Hey, Rick, hit it, buddy.
At the Fire Department Coffee Fire Academy, we know that training for the unknown, the unknowable is what makes great first responders. That's why we add our own little twist to every training scenario that we do. Like our extreme 60-second drill.
You gotta be ready for anything. Let's go get them burnouts off. You're gonna live a little wing stop you. Get it out of here.
No matter what the scenario, we like to add our own little twist to keep the training as dynamic as possible.
Come on, force that door. Get in there. Go. Surprise! You don't need your eyes to save lives. Get in there.
We even have training for our EMS brothers and sisters.
You gotta keep up with me. Don't you drop that patient. Come on, move it. You better say couple bumps.
And we don't just get you prepared for emergency calls. We get you ready for the most intense environment you'll experience. Station life.
Because why just be ready for some things?
You can be ready for
I got to tell you, so I've got my studio at big monitors at my office, right? And I'm playing when he's in the can, and my wife walks in, and she said, "What in the world is that?" And I said, "Firefighter," and she goes, "Okay." So you must have had a great response on that video, man.
Yeah, people love it. There's that connection, whether it's through military or firefighters or EMS or whatever it is, and I'm sure with racers as well. There's just that brotherhood or sisterhood that comes together. Messing with each other is a lot of fun, as long as you're not doing anything outrageously stupid. The reaction on that was exactly what we wanted. We wanted people that enjoy humor, they enjoy coffee, and they know the ins and outs of our job, like the whole couple bumps when they're going over the railroad tracks. That is something that every paramedic or EMT says every single time they take someone out of the ambulance, and it's autonomic, like it just happens. You just say couple bumps. It's almost robotic at this point. So it's kind of our throwback to them.
Well, real quick, because you and I've chatted before. I've had the pleasure to announce a lot of motorsports. I'm doing a national NHRA event one of my fellow announcers is stuck over at the Boulder Dam because they're checking his trailer because he's got drums of nitro and methane, and he's really going nuts. And I have him on the speakerphone, and he's talking to the whole crowd. And it takes a minute and a half for him to realize what's going on. I said, well, of course I got to do that. Because it becomes in our DNA. Looking at my notes, so it gets better, viewers. So we're saying, obviously these guys are really cool. They got a great sense of humor. They have no problem kind of laughing at themselves a little bit. Amazing product. Well, they're really into racing. So we got some pictures coming up here. And so this is a couple of the guys you've been kind of helping. You've been part of their teams, right, sir?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kaz Grala and Antron Brown, we were so stoked to work with both of these guys. Kaz Grala, he's in NASCAR, the Xfinity Series. He's been doing such an incredible job. I watched him last week, his last race. I mean, he was in third going around the track at one point in time, which that just watching NASCAR gives me a panic attack, watching how close those guys are to each other. And then Antron Brown as well. What's amazing about both these guys is they're incredible at their job, and their jobs are not, this isn't something that's built over like an hour. Like, these are seconds that matter. And it's so intuitive, and it matches so well with firefighting and paramedics that seconds count, especially with Antron Brown. You blow out one spark plug, which as a mechanic I never even thought was possible, to just blow a spark plug out of the head. But it was so cool to watch these guys and everything that they've done, and just so excited to work with both of them. And obviously, being the official coffee of the NHRA, we're just excited to give everybody their caffeinated needs.
Perfect. And there you are.
Yeah. Well, that's not me. That's actually Luke Schneider's father.
Really? Wow.
But I appreciate you saying I look older. Thanks, guy.
Well, I meant the coffee. I meant the coffee.
That's Luke. That's Luke Schneider's father, Mark Schneider. He's a super nice guy as well. Cool. With Kaz. I'll actually see Kaz in Miami. Their next race, it's one of their last races in Miami. I'm going to go down there and hang out.
Well, I meant the coffee's there. I would clarify. Okay, let me see if I can screw up the next shot, Rick. Let's see what we got. Now, what I love here, I'm digging the crew, man. They're doing the turnout gear, right?
God, yeah, and that was so cool to see how they integrated something like that. Yeah. Because every firefighter across the world sees the reflective tape on there. We immediately identify with that. And to see those guys running around killing it, and again, seconds count when it comes to those pit crews, just doing such a good job. I actually taught CPR I own a CPR company, and at one point in time I taught CPR to NASCAR, to the pit crews, which was very cool. It was a very cool experience.
Excellent. Now, for the viewers, and help me clarify this, Jason, I think that may be the fastest can of coffee on the Western Hemisphere.
Yes, we 100% confirmed. Fastest one, I'd say, in the world, to be honest.
It probably could be because when you get up, you get to see viewers to see this Top Fuel. That is a can, that big giant can of their coffee sitting right behind that really loud Top Fuel motor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Too cool.
God, so cool.
And now there's the money shot. Hold it with Antron with the Wally, right?
Just everything about the NHRA, everything about that, you don't have an appreciation for it until you're there, until you listen to announcers like you that explain what happened. And, again, I was a mechanic, but not at this kind of level. And just hearing you guys like, that orange flame that came out of the pipe, that's because X happened and Y, there was an extra oil dump in. And they're like, well, okay, sure. Yeah, whatever you just said, bro. And it's so cool to know how these things, like, I thought when they came off the track, when they came off of the line, that they just floored it. They just went as hard as they could to go. And that's not the way it is. It's got to be precise. And it's just so cool to see all that.
And like you're talking about the speed and how quick everything happens. To me, NHRA is a great example. I think just like what you guys do in the fire department is you're relying on a whole team to make everything happen, right? Like when you guys roll up on scene with the bus and you got the engine units with you, you probably got 10, 12 people all working together in a coordinated effort. And people look from the outside and says, man, that looks pretty seamless. Well, that's just years in the field, a lot of practice, and being able to rely on your brother and sisters, right? Yep, hold on. We momentarily we have a pause in our link. We'll see if we can get him back here. Are you back with us? Okay, he's there, kind of. That is a downside sometimes, boys and girls, when because the majority of our guests are remote. Thank them very much. It makes it a lot easier on everybody's scheduling, and sometimes we get a little wrinkle. Are we back?
I think we're back.
Hey, there we go. That's just loving technology. I tell everybody, what in the 60s we could send a man to the moon and bring him back, and our cell phones still don't work all the time. So before we jump in, we got more video coming, viewers, and we got a great one later on with this young man. See, I said young, okay, to cover my tracks here. And Antron, before we jump in there, being as how you're an old gearhead from back in the day, to date, what's your favorite automotive memory? Yeah,
honestly, my favorite automotive memory was when I went to school to become a mechanic. I went to a thing called Ford Asset, and it was very cool. I got to learn all the different parts of the car. I loved electrical. Wind leak, water leak is what I ended up getting into. But when I went from Ford to Chevy and worked for them for a little bit. But when I was working for Chevy, you had to be able to do everything from bumper to bumper. You need to be able to do everything. The only thing that transmission was the only thing that we had a specialty for. But the first time that I genuinely ripped apart an engine, brought it all the way down to the block, had to rebuild it all the way back up, and that first fire up and it actually ran and didn't explode. That was probably one of my favorite, that I actually did this and it works perfectly.
I can relate. When you have all the parts laying across the bench and you put the heads back on, you torque it, and you hit the key and bang, and about maybe one turn of the crank and it's idle, and you're going, okay, well, let's go.
Funniest one was a guy next to me who was a heavy line he was a heavy line guy.
Right.
Rebuilt this engine, and he's literally putting it all back together, and he goes, "I'm missing an exhaust manifold bolt. I don't know where it's at." I was like, all right. So puts one that he had, a spare one. Right. You know where this is going, and fires it up.
Oops! You found the bolt.
It's in the cylinder. That's it.
Ouch.
Yeah.
To me, it's never good when you get done putting a motor back together and you have like an extra one. You say, well, where did that go? Or in this case, you lost one. All right, well, let's take this one step further. What's your favorite hot rod?
Ooh, my favorite hot rod?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really hard to answer. What's your? I'll tell you. Tell me yours, and then.
For my viewers, they know my answer. It's a 1970 Superbird 426 Hemi.
Oh man. See, I've always been like, I don't know, and this probably doesn't go into the hot rod area,
That's okay.
but I fell in love with the Galaxy 2000 for a long time, just because of the size of those vehicles.
Yeah.
It's not really in the hot rod area,
well,
but
cool.
that was.
It's your automobile. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I always fell in love with. I never really had like a favorite hot rod that was obviously everyone loves like a Shelby, but yeah, that was pretty much what.
That'd be cool. I like it. We got a few more picks coming up, and part of being in what I affectionately refer to as fire and rescue, all the pieces of it, it is a big, giant family. I think we got some pics of with you guys getting together. So there's firefighter Fenton with a mustache and sometimes a little bit too. He kind of scares me sometimes when I see these pictures. He looks really serious.
Funny part is he's the nicest dude you'll ever meet. Like,
cool.
You shake his hand. He's got like 37 kids at home right now. I don't know how he has any money anymore. But nicest dude you'll ever meet. He's really good. That's Randy in the middle. Randy's been on the fire service about 23 years. He's amazing. Natalie next, and then Larry. Larry has been with us since the beginning, and again, just super, super nice guy.
Beautiful. So where are we at here?
So we're, I believe, this was up at, is this Pompano? Oh, it's Pompano. It's Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. Sorry. We've been to so many different fire departments. Yeah. So Pompano, that was actually, what's really cool was there was a show called Live Rescue. And they followed firefighters and EMS personnel to calls, and they got to see a live version of what we do every day.
Wow.
Well, I got to be on the last episode as a host in my area, which was Pompano at the time. And it's so cool. Such a bunch of really, really cool guys running calls, doing it right. And that's so that's that South Florida, Pompano area.
Beautiful. Loving it. I love that shot, man. Oh my goodness.
We got to do some. Those are hero shots. We call those the "thank me for my service" shots. That's what those are called.
Absolutely correct. And I think the next one is if that's what I'm thinking. Yes, that can be a real deal, right? Rolling up and you see that much fire going on.
I got to tell, I've rolled up on fires, fully involved structures, just like a lot of flames coming out. And what a lot of people don't realize is how hot that is from the street or whatever it is. And it'll literally melt the sidings or set the houses on fire next to it. But absolutely. But I'll tell you, that right there is a propane explosion. And if you pull up to that, you need to back the trucks up real fast because it's gonna go south real fast. It's gonna be bad.
Absolutely correct. I think we got one more shot here, and if I recall, I think that's right here in Las Vegas, right, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yep. That's the boys. Yeah, we stopped by. We were actually out there for a thing called SHOT Show, which was very cool. One of the guys reached out, "Hey, can you guys stop by?" We said, "Absolutely." We stopped by. And I mean, like the guys that to the left in the blue and the green, those guys weren't on duty. They came by to say what's up and hang out with us, and that is what I think makes you fall in love and stay in the fire service. You come in to save lives and help people, but you stay for the brotherhood and the sisterhood, the connection that you get with other humans, and that's it. If you couldn't have a better picture to kind of demonstrate it.
Absolutely correct, and thank you for being able to stop by and say everybody there in Vegas, and you're talking about propane explosions. I'll sit down with companies. I talk to them about a Blevy, right? The boiling liquid, and they go, "What?"
Yeah.
And the best thing you do is run 90 degrees against the length of that tank, and because the hat's going to come off, and you don't want to be near it.
Depending on the size of that Blevy, you don't want to be in a very good distance of that thing.
Because the fires in general, to me, kind of people don't appreciate just how quickly things can go wrong. And let me look. And actually, we have a nice little segue because I'm an old safety guy as well. Safety culture, we're definitely old. And we have a video that this one takes a little different track, but I really want the viewers to pay attention to it.
Hey everyone, this week is National Fire Prevention Week, and Fire Department Coffee wanted to remind you that closing your doors before you go to sleep is one of the best ways to keep you and your family safe during a fire emergency.
Ma'am, I don't care that Kitty McFlufferson has a gluten allergy. Where in the house is your cat?
Closing your doors can prevent your room from becoming filled with smoke during a fire emergency, allowing you enough time to escape out of a window to safety, or at least allow you to stay safe and cool in the room until firefighters arrive to rescue you.
Hey, by the way, if my Wi-Fi goes out, it's because my house is on fire.
But to demonstrate how well closing your doors can protect you and your families, I've had a smoke machine filling up my hallway for the last 20 minutes. But because I've had my door closed, you would never know. Here, look. So just remember to keep you and your family as safe as possible. Always close before you doze. That's a bathroom.
That's the bathroom. But very well done. And for the viewers, what I like about the video as well, man, you guys are also kind of reminding everybody, here's some techniques that can really enhance your safety in your home.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it's about. We want to have fun. We want to make people laugh, but we want to save lives. And that is an incredible thing for people to do. Closing for your doors, it will save your life because most people don't die from heat exposure and fires. They die from smoke inhalation. Yes. And the worst part is they tend to die 8 to 10 feet from their front door. So making sure your doors are closed when the smoke detectors go off. Florida, a lot of them are centralized. So when one goes off, they set everything off. So you kind of know.
And I real quickly, when I talk about these companies about asphyxiation, and a lot of times it's like 2 breaths, and you are approaches being unconscious. So you'd really like
depending on the situation, yeah.
And you don't even know what's happened to you. Okay, we got more pictures, and there's more to these people. They love doing their charity work. So talk about this big check. What's going on here?
So we find local benevolent funds or benevolent funds across the United States, and we support them with what they need. They need money. So for us, a lot of times it's supporting individuals through their benevolent funds. So people reach out to us. You're able to reach out through our foundation, and you do a foundation request. So if you have someone who's a sick and injured first responder and we're able to help them financially, then this is what we'll do. We'll cut a check. We'll give them some money to hopefully help pay their mortgage for a couple months, or maybe get some medical bills, something that while they are not able to work and support their families, we can at least come in and hopefully help supplement that. And what we do now is once a month, we get a fire department and we create a custom logo and a custom bag for them.
Nice.
We sell it, and proceeds, a good amount of proceeds of that go back to that fire department's benevolent fund directly, so they can support their members and we can help.
Beautiful. We got a few more of those checks as well. So if you can step us through these rather quickly, Jason.
Oh, yeah. So, this, again, it's the same thing, just a bunch of really good people that we're trying to stand behind and help out as much as possible. That girl right there wasn't told to look at the camera, so that makes that picture even better.
I love it.
Yeah, this is IFSI, so the Illinois Fire Service Institute. You want to talk about stand-up humans. Their people, anyone who goes there for fire school goes there for free. It's all funded through the state. So the Illinois Fire Service Institute, they let us come in and film and kind of create the fun and exciting environments that we create, but for them, and we're able to support them obviously with financial donations. But for them, literally, it volleys like all these people that just literally that don't have the actual financial abilities to go to fire school and help save lives. They go there for free, which is unbelievable. And they put on a veterans event that hotel, food, the schooling, everything. Yeah, there you go. And they put that on for free. We got an amazing opportunity to send some coffee overseas, and then to some local veterans and people that are currently serving as well.
Excellent. So again, like I told the viewers, there's a whole bunch going on with Fire Department Coffee. Now, you got to check out what they're doing on Facebook, because they get kind of rather creative. So we've got a few shots here. And I love this. Only stronger than our bond is the coffee we make. And I like his T-shirt, right? Stand back 500 feet till I get my coffee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Randy and Brent. That's essentially what our shoots look like. It's just us very close to each other for 3 days straight, filming 15 to 18 videos, something like that, having a blast. But yeah, we're bonded, baby. We're bonded.
And I want to compliment you guys on your inventiveness as a coffee grinder.
Thank you. Yes, grinds very well. You get slight hints of gasoline, but I mean the under caffeine amount is still there. You're good.
And I want to congratulate you for the placement of your right leg. I do maybe see the ballet in your future. I'm not sure.
Look, if you're going to do an eloquent pour, you better have an eloquent pose. So, that's what this comes down to.
And we actually go ahead.
First time we did that, we did it first time. It was amazing.
Well, I want to compliment firefighter Fenton for having the courage to hang out there without a glove on or something. And so you hit the cup with the coffee.
Yeah, we hit the cup first time. It was no CG, nothing like that. It was perfect.
Okay, we're talking about other videos and the fact that Jason back in the day turned wrenches for a living. Well, you love seeing videos. Well, here's some proof of some of his wrenching abilities. Hey, Rick, hit that play button, buddy.
As a current firefighter
And a former mechanic.
and co-owner of Fire Department Coffee, we're excited to announce that we're the official coffee of the NHRA. So thank you for supporting our veteran-owned and firefighter-run coffee business.
Jay! Smoke!
I never said I was a good mechanic.
The coffee's great, though.
Yeah, it is.
So that is a truth statement. I was not a good mechanic, and I've never claimed to be. But
I got to ask, so did you spend a lot of time around Top Fuel before you got time to spend with Antron Brown and his team?
I spent time just at Moroso is where I really got to spend my time dealing with that. And I think that was more like smaller, I think there was some Top Fuel that came out there. Yep. All I truly remember from there is my father bringing me there and just the really cool, just watching these cars rip off the line. And at one point in time, I brought my Ford Ranger there, my 6-banger Ford Ranger.
I love it.
And I think it took me about 45 seconds to get down to the other side.
Yeah. You'll get there tomorrow. That's right. Yeah. They measure your reaction time with a sundial. Yeah, we understand.
Yeah.
So what was it like for the viewers, Jason, if you could share it, the first time you're in the pits with Jason and they fire that, with Antron, the first time they fire that top fuel?
I mean, the first time I was in the pits and he fired that off, it's, I don't even want to describe the sound of it because I think at some point in time you just go deaf. But it was the impact on your chest that you physically feel these cylinders firing off at an outrageous RPM. But it's I think it's a once in a lifetime feeling, something that you won't feel, and you don't have to be in the pits.
Right.
If you're anywhere in those stands, or even when I was in the VIP box sitting on the outside balcony, my daughter went out there, didn't know what was about to happen, and these things blew by, and she's freaking out. It was amazing. So it's a once in a lifetime experience. If you ever can get down by the pits when these things go off, I highly suggest it because you won't be able to duplicate it anywhere else.
And you're absolutely correct. We had the pleasure. We had Jeff Motley on from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway a few months ago, and they got this great phrase: every ticket NHRA, it's a pit pass. You can be right at the tape, as they call it, at the edge of that pit when they go to fire it, and that puppy's loud. Don't care who you are. We got some contact information we'll put on the screen here, and if you could step us through that. So this is how they can find you guys, right, buddy?
Absolutely. Yeah, our website, firedepartmentcoffee.com. Jump on there, check it out. We have everything you can possibly ever want. Flavors from our blends from your ground to your whole bean, all the different roasts from light roast to espresso roast. We have spirit infused coffees. We have new wonderful naturally flavored coffees like our marshmallow brownie. We're coming out with a cinnamon churro very soon, which is very exciting. Then we have ready drinks as well, which is very cool. And then obviously any of those social media channels you want to check us out at.
Well, Jason, do me a favor. Hold on. After we say goodbye, I want to chat to you after we get done with the show. We can't thank you for being on the show today. And number one, please thank all of your fellow brothers and sisters and firefighting, the EMTs, everything you guys are doing. God bless what you guys do every day of the year, man. You keep everybody else safe.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate having you on the show, and you keep being a legend. Hopefully I'll get to meet you one day. That'd be amazing.
We'll hook up here in Vegas, and like I mentioned, let me know you're coming. We'll make sure the casinos keep the lights on for you, brother.
Let's go.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon, and God bless.
All right, brother.
Wow. Do me a favor. You got to check out Fire Department Coffee. You can go online. They got all the different merch, and actually you can get merch that helps up some of their charity fundraising as well. Yeah, it's a real deal. You got to check it out, and their coffee absolutely rocks. And until next time, enjoy the ride.